Okay, guys, good morning to all of you. Today is 22nd July 2025. Crazy, where logic meets profit. All right. So, guys, it's been a while since I go online because I'm actually very busy. I'm actually now in this KL. I was in Vietnam, Hanoi. I had a very, very good session over there. And now I'm in KL. I also had a very good session with more than 20 of our leaders yesterday. So, as long as I got time, I will definitely do this market sharing. Okay. So let's now look. Before that, disclaimer apply as usual. All right. Okay, my PowerPoint a bit slow down. Let me just see what's going on. Okay, what happened? Oops. Okay. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. There's something wrong with my PowerPoint. Okay, so the thing is this, before we do that, the self-disclaimer apply as usual. Please do your money management, yeah? Very, very important. And also that later on we'll talk about the gold market. How did gold actually move today and created a big, big upside, which a lot of people make a lot of money from gold yesterday. Okay? All right, so now let's go into some of the news first to begin with the macro picture, yeah? Let's go the macro picture. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, so let's just look at what happened to the US market last night. Yeah, okay, let's go first. Now, the S&P 500 posted a first close above 6,300 as the Nasdaq hits a record ahead of the big tech earning. Now, you must understand that why the S&P is going up because of the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is bumping up as we can see right now. And you can see that the thing is that it's all the seven magnificent shares that's pushing up the market. In fact, itself, right, you can see this one here. This is a very important setup. Um, Basically, right, the mega caps, the significant seven, were the main driver. Okay. In fact, right, these companies, all right, some of them, their earnings itself, right, is well up by 14% for the second quarter of the year. But incredibly, the other 493 companies of the S&P 500 is only up by 3.4%. So it's just like basically itself, right? A big piece of pie, all right, is eaten up by the seven magnificent shares, all right? So because of that right now, right, it is basically pretty scary because the concentration now is very, very deep. Now, one thing to note is that the White House reiterated its position on the tariff over the weekend. The U.S. Secretary Howard Lutnick says that the 1st of August, the hard deadline is starting to pay off. All right. And he believes that, right, there will be other countries that will be paying the tariff. So honestly, this is where things will start. And I really reminded everybody that although the tariff will help the US market, but globally itself, it will affect a lot of us. And as a matter of fact, the inflation will definitely hit the roof by the end of it. I have been very, very vocal on this. I keep on saying that there will be a very incredible inflation coming in. And after that, what will happen? Food prices will go through the roof. And of course, after that itself, we may even see a possible technical recession. Okay. But of course, while this is ongoing, there are more people getting more bullish. In fact, some of them are saying that right now, the S&P 500 could go up to 6,600. Wow, okay. So it's about 4.7% higher from where we are right now. I'm going to leave it alone over there. For me itself, cryptocurrency is a buy, gold is a buy, silver is a buy. But you're asking me the stock market now, this price to buy, I seriously cannot see that reason to do that. So I'm gonna stop there on this. It's pointless for me to go into this. All right. Now, one thing to note that the US is playing hardball on the tariff deadline as the EU battles for a deal. Yeah, the EU is trying to get something out from this, and we all know that it's not easy, especially the US now really needs the money. And of course, we also understand that right now, right, the 30% is untenable. Now, from the Irish whiskey, Italian cheese, Donald Trump, this tariff threat rattles the EU exporters. You think about this right now. Imagine that you suddenly increase the cheese price from let's say $10 to $13. I mean, seriously, who will be buying that?
And that is an increment of $3 without any profit for the person who export, right? So it's not going to help. And I tell you this, once the stock market, okay, which is a general income, what they call generator, start to really hit the plateau with a high level, and people start to take profit from the market to feed themselves for daily necessity, that is where things will definitely crater. And that's why I'm kind of confident to say that, right, the inflation curve will hit up, and that's also clearly why this Jerome Powell and friends refuse to cut interest rate. So it's very clear things will get more and more expensive. And when things get more and more expensive, what do you think? What will we do? We will be spending, right? I mean, if it always skis up by 20 to 30% to 40%, seriously, I think a lot of people will stop buying. And when they stop buying, the repercussion it will be back to the companies, and the companies will get affected the jobs, and the jobs, and if it got affected itself, it will go around, and it can be a vicious cycle. Yeah. So think about this for a moment. Now, the Singapore stock market has seemed to be a bit of holding up right now because the Singapore dollars now exhibit a safe haven currency feature, but it's no yen or Swiss franc yet. So although we have the Sing dollar now being watched and being appreciating and also been buying, well the low volatility, the very prudent fiscal policy, and the economy have been very solid, that's for sure, has become a magnet for people to invest. But the question is this: there's nowhere still the yen or the franc. So the rational reason why is that because we are still a very small country in for the world. As you can see right now, the US dollar from the high, and that was back in 2025 January at 109 level, has traded down all the way to 97, broke 98 level last night. And I've been saying this, the US dollar will likely be trading down to 96.50, a level that I mentioned that will happen. Now, of course, again, when I mention things will happen like this, a lot of people have questioned, but to me, it's undeniable. Sorry, it's very bad here itself. Let me just click back to here. 96.50, I think this will be happening for the US market. Okay, and of course, 96.50 is just the beginning of the first support. In fact, if Donald Trump get what he wants and Jerome Powell is no longer in the house, I think we can see up to 92 for the US dollar. And of course, that means that gold price can still continue to go higher, and that's something to be very, very worrisome if you ask me as a trader or investor. All right. Okay. So that is the thing that I want to share with you. So for your consideration. Okay, so that is the macro picture for today, the macro picture. Now we do macro means big picture. We do micro means we go to the chart and see what the chart says. And we go to detail is when the detail comes in, is how to put a trade in, how to get the exit point with a stop loss and everything. So let's now go into uh, the micro, which is the chart itself, yeah? All right, so this is the gold price. Oh no, this is Dow Jones right now. First, Dow Jones. Now, Dow Jones this morning opening price is 44,395. Now, the KSI is green. That means that the boys are still buying strongly. The KCX is black, means the buying is still ongoing. So as long as the market stays above OP, there's still a upside in the market. So let's take a look at this one first. This is called a zebra formation. Zebra the animal zebra. Yeah. Now, why is it called zebra? It's because of the alternating of colors. You can see that this is red, this is yellow, this is red, this is yellow. So when we see red, yellow manifesting itself, right, normally we'll see a big movement coming in, right, normally. So give you an example for this, yeah, let's take a look. Okay, so can you see over here? There is red, yellow, right? So this is called a zebra formation, right? And after that, you can see the market really roll up by 1,100 points in the market before a pullback and then the bigger rally. Okay. So that is why when you see a zebra, red, yellow, or yellow, red, it doesn't matter how they start with. As long as it's a alternating colors, you will see that the market will move, right? Now, of course, it can move downwards also. Let me just find you one. Let's just go back again and see for something similar. Okay, something like this. Red, yellow. Okay, this is a elephant, and the trade went up first. Then after that, the market really slammed down. All right, so we don't really know that the market upside or downside direction for sure, but we know that usually after we see such a thing, we will have very big open coming in. So let's try more again before we move on. So you can see over here, right? Red, yellow. Then this is the zebra, and then the market after that cascaded downwards instead. Okay, so this one we have to let the market decide. But once the market decided, that's where the big movement is, and you need to be very careful. Okay, that's the first thing to note for today's market. Now, the second thing to watch out for today, it will be this. Okay, it will be on there. All right, today is a DJDD for the market, DJDD Dow Jones Directional Day. That means that today the opening price is crucial. If the market opening price is here, if the market goes up, it'll go all the way up. If it stay below OP, it'll be selling. So today's OP, as you say, is 44,395. So if the market stays up, we have upside all the way to 44,725. But if the market stays down instead, I believe we can see 44,077 because that is the MA30, all right, of the market. So guys, this is the Dow Jones of forecast for today. With the boys buying and the retail are buying, the downside will be limited. But because of the pivot 2, which is a classic sell signal, this one there will be a conflict of interest here. But as long as the market stays below OP, right, I think the market should be coming down to here. So there's about 300 points from where we are right now. And I think for the market now, 300 points is really nothing. Yeah. Okay, so that is the Dow Jones. Now let's look at gold, the one that you'll be waiting for. Now gold this morning, we can see that it went up first and then it pulls back at the moment right now. The high was 3402. All right, 3402 was high and now it's pulled back to 3393. Now, one thing is to understand the US dollar cannot be like all the way down. So this morning, the US dollar recovered a bit. So that's the reason why the gold is coming off on profit taking. Now, today's opening price for gold is 33.97 and the MLP is 33.73. The KSI is green, the KCX is black. So just the two indicators alone, the market is bullish. All right, it's actually bullish. So as long as the market stays above OP 3397, then you can buy. Now, yesterday we talked about that before, that every time when you are trading in the market, okay, do remember that if the market stays below OP, you cannot be buying. Now, if gold stays above OP later, if it really goes up later, where would it be going? Well, gold will be going up to this number, 3426. Now, 3426 is actually the pivot one of today, yeah, 3426. Now, that's only if gold stays above 3397. Now, the gold is trading below OP, so that means the gold can go down to here. And this figure here can be as low as 3381. Okay, so very simple. If the market stays above OP 3397, the target will be most likely to see this, which is, oh yeah, okay, which is to see this, which is 3426. If the gold do come down instead, then the gold will come down all the way to the potential of coming down to 3381. Okay, 3381. Yeah, hold on. Okay, 3381. Okay, all clear, yeah? So that is the goal upside and downside of each day itself. Okay, very simple, very direct. No buts about it. Okay. Now, yesterday, crude oil has continued to trade sideways. Now, crude oil has been sideways for many days. The thing is this, I am still bullish on this guy because I can see the boys are buying relentlessly. But the retailers are not buying. In fact, they are the main seller now. So I think that maybe we need the retailer to come in a bit, yeah. Now, second thing is that the market has slowed down back then, right? So it's like it's a very strong sell. So if you take this and divide by two, you get somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere like this, about 73 level, right? Somewhere around there. Okay, something like 73. So the thing is this, now the market is all holding up, pending up, ready for the explosive movement. And of course, if you put the arrows in, let me just bring in, say arrow there. Okay, so an arrow here itself, that means it's very clear we have a potential breakout system here. So you put it in, this is the white line. Okay, so now what you see, guys, that if crude oil breaks above $68.30 without notifying everybody, there is a chance for the market to go all the way up here itself. Now, this number, as I mentioned to you, this number is 7815. Okay, 7815. So some of you say that no, no, this is too far away. Can I have the middle of this? I say the middle of this is about $73. Well, entry is not too far away. So if you want, this is the first profit. This, if you want the bigger one, this is the second profit. So $73 will be my first target profit if you'd ask me, then followed by the $78.15. Now, will the oil price be going down instead? Well, it's going to be tough because you can see the number of KSI at the bottom. Okay, that's a very strong buying signal. Number two is right at the moment the market hasn't break any wrong technical point. The nearest it broke was somewhere around here, which of course after that we can see that I think okay, so that is the oil for you right now. Now let's look at the currency market. I'm pretty sure everybody will look at currency. Okay, I bring in the dollar yen right now. Okay, so let's look at dollar yen, shall we? The dollar yen now is actually trading up. 147.27 is the opening price. Now it's 147.65, so it's up by 40 pips. Now, yesterday, obviously, with the dollar coming down, the dollar yen was affected. And of course, the system already 3 days ago informed you that there is some problem with this place. So the thing is this, when the dollar goes down, the dollar yen goes, I mean, the dollar yen goes down, the dollar goes down. Well, it is very possible that the dollar yen may face the near term downside to 146.43. 146.43. Now, my internet is getting a bit unstable right now, so if you get cut off, please apologize on this. I say my apology. So one thing is that if the market stays below OP, there's a high chance that the MA30 will be traded. But on the near term, if the market goes up instead, then interestingly today we have an inverse pivot. Now inverse pivot, you look carefully, the pivot 1 and pivot 2 actually inverted. Now the way of using it is still the same. Above the pivot you buy, below the pivot you sell, just that the impact itself usually a bit greater. Now, one thing to note is that at the same time, if the market do pull back, the MA30 will be a very strong support base. And you can see that, guys, the last 10 days, a lot of this people are supporting this movement. So really, I don't think there's anything much after this. So yeah, so that is how I see for the currency market. And also that is how I ended today, this morning, the first session. This don't leave away from Zoom. Just stay on. I'll take a short little break to get some water, and then we go into yesterday's gold market. Yeah? So don't leave away. Just wait for about 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you very much.